Hey, you guys. Let's wait and see if anyone's going to be able to join me this evening. I feel ready because I got my water here. Happy New Year's, by the way. Happy New Year's to everybody. I hope you guys are all so excited about 2022. I know I am. I really feel like this is going to be a fabulous year for so many people, and especially survivors, because you guys have big hearts, you work hard, you're planting seeds. This is going to be a great year for manifesting, just purely looking at the numbers. 2022, that's 222, that's 6. That's like a pregnant woman that's ready to give birth, you guys. So, hey, Sherry 48196, how you doing, sweetie? Aw, and I love to interact with you guys, so definitely feel free. I'm looking at the chat. The chat box is nice and big, so I'll see you. This is the first live chat of 2022 for the channel. So, and after a little bit of a hiatus, so I guess I'll just start there before we jump into the topic. So, I sprinkle some of this in some of the videos. Happy New Year's, honey. And as to why I was not uploading as much. And some of it was due to family. I had a lot of my energy had to go towards my family life. And then some of it was just times that God was just dealing with me one-on-one, honestly. It's times that I could be going through stuff and I'm pumping out videos you guys would not even know what's going on in my life, And then there's times I go through stuff and I'll retreat a little bit. And that's a time of refinement for me. But I feel like during those times in particular, God is definitely keeping me close to the energy of this channel, okay? Because I'm not exempt from the life of classrooms and all of this and that too. So I'll be going through my own stuff, having things that I have to learn. And then, I just bring the lessons right on back to the channel anyway. So it all works out, But yeah, I'm so excited for this year, you guys. And I do plan on being very heavy with the channel this year. This is definitely going to be a year for that for me. So hopefully you guys appreciate it and hopefully that it helps people out. I've already recently made a few uploads on the channel over the last 48 hours. So definitely feel free to check that out and make sure you guys are hitting the bell so that you're notified, right? Especially if you haven't in a while. Sometimes YouTube will just unhit it for you. You got to re-hit it. Okay. But either way, now that small talk is a little bit out of the way, we can, talk about the narcissist and entitlement because they definitely have it. And when I wanted to, think about this, I wanted to think about it from both perspectives, how the narcissist views entitlement for themselves and how they view what they call would be your entitlements. Because, believe it or not, you have to know that they think that you guys are actually the really entitled ones. Like, oh, how dare you command respect, right? That's an entitlement to a narcissist, right? The most basic human decency and, giving respect to others, those are like entitlements in their mind to give to other people. It's not something that is free flowing. And it's not even when it appears as though they're giving it, it's very transactional. It's like, well, I'll give the appearance of respecting you in this moment because you're being a good supply type of thing. That's what I've noticed from them. But, it can be revoked at any moment. And that's how it's not coming from a sincere place. Now, we reverse the roles here. Once you realize, what they're doing and what's going on, because you were coming from a sincere place, chances are you're still giving them a certain level of basic human decency because you were being real with them. You were coming from a sincere place. You might actually love this person, even though you don't like them or nor want to be with them anymore. So, that's the difference right there, right off the rip. Narcissists feel like, respecting people, or you commanding that is like you being entitled, basically. Because they don't really want to give these things, which is why they suck at reciprocation. And let me pull this up on my phone real quick, you guys, so I can be a little bit more. Yeah, so in the video where I was talking, the video for competing against you and stuff, this will all like tie into that, honestly. Especially if this is going to be a harvest year for so many people, you got to know. Like, don't ask God to be successful and don't expect to have people that may be jealous of you or envious of you or, haters, basically. And especially, narcissists, they're going to be in that energy anyway. But yeah, let's talk about their entitlement for a minute, as far as their expectations on what they feel entitled from other people. Now, the same things that they feel like you're being entitled about, like being respected, someone that's being honest and forthcoming type of thing, is not an entitlement for them to have those things. They just feel like it should be given. So it's always going to be like a double standard when you're dealing with this type of energy. Of course, treat them good, be honest with them, and don't expect that in return, though. Like, really. What did you say, Sherry? Let's see. They feel they never have to respect. Right, right. And it's never a true sense of respect, because there's so much about appearances is giving the illusion of things. That's what they're really good at. Giving you enough of an illusion of something, especially early on, to maybe have you convinced that they actually respect you in a love bomb phase of things, when it's really not quite the case. And then later on, when they drop the mask and all the things that they claim to respect you about, suddenly they're revoking it. They're being double tongued. They're whatever they complimented you about, you're the opposite of that now. It's all like due to their emotional maturity, and because they run off their emotions. And I've been saying this for years, wherever their emotions are for you in that moment, that's how they're going to talk about you. So when someone's in that type of energy, is not going to be factually based. You're not going to get somebody that's just being grounded in the truth. Like, whether I like this person or not, I can't take the fact of this away from them. They're still this or that, Nope. If they're mad at you and they're running in those emotions, then they have no qualms. Like, they just, like breathing, they'll just spit out a lie, something that isn't even truthful. But because they're mad at you and you're the bad guy and you're ugly and this and that now, they feel like they can talk about your character. So it looks like we have a few more people joining the live chat. Hey, Just Be Real. Happy New Year's to you too. Also, Monique Torres. Welcome you guys to the live chat. Yeah, it's really sickening. My whole thing is, when somebody shows this to you, and I should have maybe even called this live chat the disguise, but once they show you they've been in that disguise, pretending to be something that they're not, that has to be enough. And that was a lesson that ran home for me this year. I'm going to tell you that in my private life, for some people, family members, people very close to me, that Maya Angelou saying, that was one of my number one lessons that I had to take with me out of 2021. Like, when people show you who they are, really believe it. I have given some family people, some loved ones, some chance after chance after chance after chance. I mean, of course, I wouldn't have been that forgiving towards a stranger, but I really, at the end of the day, they didn't change their stripes. They really didn't, you guys. And the same betrayal that they did to me, that shocked me from the beginning, was the betrayal that they continued to do over and over and over again. So I'm telling you. Going into this year, definitely a piece of New Year's advice is, believe it. Believe it. And sometimes we don't want to see it, especially the closer somebody is in our circle. We don't want to have to kick them out of it. But for your own self-preservation, you're going to have to make some type of shift because they're going to continue to do it. You really have to believe them, especially if it's something, well, I won't say only things that are drastic, but this person had done something pretty drastic. And that was a major, major red flag. And yeah, you can't keep those Judases around because being as though this is going to be that year of people having their breakthroughs, you have to protect that. You can't leave yourself vulnerable. You can't let other people come in and mess up what you got going on. You have a good thing going on. When God blesses you and he prepares this table for you, and those people who earned the right to be, to have to look from the nosebleed section, I guess you could look at it that way. That's where they put themselves. It's not then for you to go take them out and say, well, maybe. No, no, no. Don't do it. Do not do it. You will surely regret it. And they will feel entitled. And if you allow them back in, we all know a narcissist in their cycle of abuse, they will come back as many times as you allow them to, especially if you got yourself together, especially if you are beaming of light, you have stuff to offer. Who's not going to want to be around that energy? Especially when they're off balance, they want to be around that energy to give them the illusion of feeling stabilized in their own life. And that's another area of entitlement for them and how their mind works. This is so weird. They will feel like if they are connected to good people, that automatically makes them a good person. They really do. So by you even allowing them to level up all these notches to even be around your company, in their mind, that makes them like you. They're thinking, they really do believe, and they may not have a resume that looks nothing like yours. And when I say resume, we don't have to be technical, but we can be technical too, because it could be a narcissist that may not even you might have cared for them no matter if they made as much money as you did, because it wasn't about that. Maybe you just wanted to be around what you thought was a person of character. Maybe you didn't mind helping them with connections. Maybe you didn't mind lifting them up in the career sector if you already was there and reaching back and pulling somebody up if it's a good person, right? But I'm telling you, they will, before you even pull them up, once they're connecting with you and stuff, they're going to think they're just like you. And it's interesting. Consider this. I'm going to compare this to like your child. All right, here you are, maybe in your 50s, established in your career, and your child just finished high school, and you're like, look, what are you doing with your life? You need to be going to a trade school. You need to be going to college. You need to be setting yourself up, giving yourself options. And they're like, oh, I ain't working for that job. I ain't making that much. Would you take that job? Well, honey, I'm not you. We got way different resumes. No, I don't even have to look at jobs like that anymore. But there was a point in my life where I started from the bottom. Narcissists, that's why they are social climbers, you guys. And that's why it's so important when you know that you paid the dues, and they might not even have paid you any attention when you were shooting in the gym. But maybe you've arrived a little bit now. You've earned it, okay? And these people will come in, and just by getting connected to you, they're going to feel like they're just like you. They will psych themselves out. This is a part of this is this psychological mask that they put on you guys, and it's crazy. But this is what happens once you discard them, right? Once you take your hands off of their life, they're going to go back down to where they actually are, and they're going to find out just how much they weren't on your level. Like, hey, you were up here, honey, because I had my hands in the mist. You know, you got that Midas touch. When you come in with your light, you make things grow in the midst of all those weeds that they're surrounded with, right? Yeah. And then once you discard them and you're putting those boundaries up and they don't have that access anymore, now you see where you are, baby. Now you see, you know, where your level really is, okay? Who is this? Carmen. Carmen says, "Hey, Lakia, just wanted to say, hey, and regardless, thank you for everything." You're welcome, sweetie. Aw. Aw. Thank you for that plug. I appreciate that. Aw. And this will be recorded, so you can come back, sweetie. That's the good thing about these live chats. You can come back. Jenny says, it's worse when they're your boss. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough pickle right there. It is. But you know what? I have made some videos about narcissists on the workplace, and you can't avoid them. You really can't. So, but it's really about your mentality, um, you know, and how you're interacting with your boss. Yeah. And then if it gets to a certain level, yeah, that one is just kind of is very situational. You know, everyone that has a narcissistic boss doesn't need to switch jobs. You know what I mean? But sometimes you do, depending on what's going on, you know, and what kind of support system you have at work. Yeah, but yeah, they're definitely entitled, and they feel like, you know, whatever you have is their, it becomes their credentials as well, basically. And that's the long story short right there. And I'll also point out that they definitely think you're dumb. They do. And this is why when you start actually getting in your strength, once you figure it out, um, they'll think that someone else put you up to having boundaries and stuff. They will. They're like, whose idea was this? Oh, you're hanging around such and such. This one is, people got to stay out of our business and this and that. No, nobody put it up to me. They just took your weakness. They took your kindness as a weakness, basically. And when you have to get stern with them, they're not even thinking that it's your idea because they're so used to you being so soft towards them, you know. But, you know, you get your enoughs, especially when someone is asking for it and it's time for them to hit the road, Jack. And it is what it is. And that's why this year I'm really going to invite you guys. Chances are you have not been selfish enough in your life. And you have to learn how to become more selfish so that you can stop people from overstepping their boundaries in your life, you know? It's your time, not a narcissist time to shine next to you, not a narcissist time to take some of your shine by you trying to lift them up with you and bring them with you when you're not supposed to. You guys have to really understand the assignments, especially when God is ready to promote you. When he's ready to promote you, he's thinking that you understand your assignment. All right. You don't want to look back during your harvest season and feel like I could have been stronger. I could have went further or this or that because you were keeping the wrong people in your circle. You were bringing the wrong people with you. You know, you weren't being strong enough to just stand on your own. There's a reason why they say it's lonely at the top. You can't just frolic with anybody. I mean, the higher God starts promoting you, you have to be discriminatory. You have to. You really do. And sometimes that means that you may be at a table of one. A lot of times you may have to be comfortable with spending time alone or being by yourself. But don't ask for a certain level of success if you can't have that emotional maturity. But because we're going into this season, you guys, I just want to, you know, start planting these seeds now before this year even start taking off. No more being loyal, you know, by a fault to others and not yourself. You know, you really need to be evaluating situations. If you have a goal, hey, if I take this on and I do this project with this person, is it taking me closer to my goals? Make it make sense in your life, you know? Good evening, Jules A. And hey, Tiffany Chanel. Yeah, no more sneaky manipulation tactics, none of that. And they're going to think it's disrespectful. If you're not allowing them to just step all over you, now you've become disrespectful, trust me. But you know what? Go ahead, hurt their feelings. They need to be hurt. They need to be hurt. It's better than hurting yourself again. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people, you know, once you get in your strength and it has to be black and white and you're about your business and you're about your self-love and you ain't about the BS and the games and nobody's getting, you know, nobody's getting a pass to be disrespectful. Nobody's getting a pass to come in between your peace. Nobody's getting a pass to not reciprocate you on any level, no matter who it is. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be in for a rude awakening at that point. But oh well. Oh well. Yeah, it just can't be no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Girl. Okay? None of that. And you know, you'll find out with the narcissist, and when I talked about in the competing videos, they're just inspired haters. And it's interesting. Like, and they probably hate that they love you on a certain level. They hate it. They hate that they needed you. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's okay. It's okay to be about your business, you guys. It's okay. It is what it is. That has to be that motto. It is what it is. All right. So what else can we say, you guys? What else can we say? Guess what? This is on another topic. This is another topic that I'm going to bring up, and I guess we could go back into the narcissist and their entitlement. Yeah, because that's serious. That's serious. Especially, you know, when you're thinking about picking a life partner and all types of things. And you're getting with people that you're unequally yoked with. So important, you guys. So important. Don't even do it. Like, just start being more strategic with your friendship circles. And when I say strategic, it doesn't mean that you're taking feelings out of it, but just make it make sense. Like, are you getting, do you want to be anything like the people that you're hanging around? Then you shouldn't be hanging around them. You know what I'm saying? If they have nothing to do with your purpose and you know why God is waking you up each day, if they're not adding extra peace and happiness into your life, like what is the reason for it? You know, sometimes we sign really bad contracts with people, and beyond just marrying people, you know, that aren't really our spiritual spouses. Tiffany said, yeah, these supervisors can be very narcissistic. Yeah, well, you know, that corporate America energy is just all about production and go, go, go. You know, it's not really set up to be caring. It really isn't. It's really just about being a machine, you know, and reaching a bottom line, really. And most of that is not even personal. It's not. And I've worked a lot of corporate America jobs myself. For those of you who don't know, you know, about me personally, I have 2 college degrees in finance and accounting. And I work in corporate America when I'm not here on the channel. And I work a good amount of hours myself, you know. And it took me working for a lot of different companies before I actually, you know, got into a position where I feel like, you know, I'm working with energies that are not so narcissistic at all. I actually like the people that I work around. So I'm very fortunate in that way. Tiffany says, mine basically told me not to try for a role because I'm a female. Were they the hiring manager? I certainly wouldn't have took their advice. You just can't even listen. I wouldn't even took that advice. And Tiffany says, finance and accounting are no joke. That's awesome. Yeah, I love numbers, so it works out for me. It works out. Yeah, I guess it sounds like I should be doing some more content about narcissists on the job here. It's been brought up a few times already in 25 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about, the entitlement. I guess we can go back to that, the narcissist and the entitlement. Yeah. I just want to say with you guys, just make sure that you're tightening up your boundaries and your expectations. You're allowed to have them. You are. And if what one person won't do, another person will be willing to do. So if people aren't willing to step up, let them go. And if they come back claiming to want to do it, like, make it a habit of not looking back. Because they'll call you bluff to see if you're really going to try to require it of them. And then maybe they might want to come back and do it for you on a love bomb basis, which is temporary. And then that's where they do like a switch and bait and they resort back to who they really are. The whole thing is, it has to become alarming if you even feel like you would even have to fathom a conversation of things that should just flow naturally between healthy, balanced people. It's a major red flag if somebody doesn't know how to be respectful, if someone can't just be honest with you, certain things like that. And don't allow people to come back from that in a certain way. Like, you could give them forgiveness as far as that, but don't allow them to come back and have more opportunities to waste your time. This is how we end up in these roller coaster relationships for 2-3 years, or more. Okay. And just for the person to go back to who they were the first time that the mask dropped. And then, they seemed like they had a sincere apology. So then you gave them another chance. And then, they always resorted back, didn't they? You have to take that with you. And we were saying that in the beginning. But they'll feel entitled. They'll feel entitled no matter how bad they've burnt a bridge with you. They will feel entitled to have another chance. All right. There's not going to be, you know what, I've done too much. Out of love for this person and knowing I'm not healed of my issues, I'm just going to leave them alone now. No, I want what's best for them. Let someone else who could really give them what they deserve. No, that's an evolved person. A narcissist is not going to think like that at all. If anything, they're just so self-deluded and they're so entitled to what they want on such a fleshly level that it doesn't matter to them. Because they lied to themselves as well. They lied to themselves as well. It wasn't that bad. They'll tell themselves whatever they did, it wasn't so bad. They start minimizing their behavior, shifting the blame. Well, they made me do it, or this wouldn't have happened. Or if they don't, they'll invite you to actually make somebody else the scapegoat of the problems in you guys' relationship. Well, if we keep people out of our business, well, what are these betrayals that you're putting out on Front Street for other people to see you doing, that we don't have to put people in our business and they just see it any damn way? Like, they'll find a way to scapegoat something or anything that they could do to twist themselves back into the relationship with you, because they just have that single track mind, whatever they want, not what they need, not what they deserve, but whatever they want. And that's a part of the entitlement, you guys. But you become entitled, you become entitled in a good way, though. See, they're doing it in a very immature, emotionally immature, toxic way, you know? Somebody said my narc got me rich, stupid games, win stupid prizes. Right, right. And they get left out in the cold left and right when survivors wake up and realize their worth, and they get put out in the cold, deservingly so. Like, you know, they should have been put out in the cold. So I see that there's 14 people in the chat. I mean, I'll just say this. I say it in every live chat. If you guys, I still do offer coaching. I do. But when I come on the live chats, if you guys have any questions about your situations, you can ask them in the live chat. If you know, if you don't mind if I'm just answering it right here in front of everybody else. So, but if you have any questions, just period. I'm a general life coach. I help people in all areas, but if it's particularly, you know, to the topic, that's fine. But I do answer questions when I come on live chats. Hey, Dawn Travis. Welcome to the live chat, hun. So I wanted to talk about some sneaky manipulation tactics that narcissists do, you know, that I don't want you guys falling for. And hopefully most of you that have been on this channel may know some of this already. And if you don't, now you do. Or maybe this would be some good reinforcement or healthy reminders, you know. So I have a lot of videos that do talk about manipulation tactics, obvious ones, honestly. But let's talk about some that may not be as obvious that we fall for. All right. Sometimes, you know, people may do just enough to stick around in your life. All right. They may, you know, they mess up all these times and then they'll come through in a time when you need them just enough. And then, you know, it may plant these seeds of doubts because of these inconsistencies. It's like, okay, well, they did this, but they did this, and that too, though, you know? And that's a person that's just trying to do enough. You have to understand when people are trying to coast, and we'll call it that, coasting. Someone's doing just enough to stay in your life, and that's not good enough. If somebody can't be consistently show up in your life, you see what I'm saying? Or it could be also someone that does all these negative things, but then when you're ready to walk out the door, they have the most sincerest sounding apology. You know, they break down and they make it seem good, or they get you an expensive gift, or they'll go out of the way when you're headed out the door. But then when you take them back, it's, you know, they get comfortable again. So we have to just watch out for people that are coasting. That's really important. And what they're doing is, you know, whatever they're investing into you, which is not even the bare minimum, if you really look at it, it's not even the bare minimum at that point. And then they're getting so much in return from you accepting them back. Now, whatever the supply is that they were getting from you, you're not holding back. Or even if you are, they know that they're still getting more than they're putting in. And survivors, you guys don't like to think of things transactionally, but I'm going to challenge you, you know, in life to be more transactional. It doesn't mean that you don't have any feelings or emotions behind it, but think about things transactionally. This is how, you know, you end up not being the one getting depleted. Ideally, nobody should be getting depleted. It's two whole people coming together and making investments in each other, and it's uplifting both people involved, you know, not somebody that's just so low vibrational that it becomes like a full-time job for you to try to pull them up where you are and then they sucker you in the beginning by acting like they're high vibrational as you are, then it's revealed that they're really not, you know, and then they play on you as an empath, which I don't want, and you take on the responsibility, which you shouldn't, and it's draining you. It's draining you. So Dawn made a comment. She says, I want to give 7 years of audio and text to my narc that tricked me to pick up a call on a video call app 2 days before Christmas. I was 3 weeks no contact, and he begged me to let him back, and I'm solo. All right, so you took the call, but ultimately it didn't lead to you taking the person back, is what you're saying? Okay. I want to share it to help others hear a live convo of narcs abuse and textbook BS. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, if you wanted to share that with me, I would totally dissect it. Yeah. So he ended up. Wow. So it sounds like he just wanted to know if you would answer. You know, sometimes it's really a game to them. And that's why it's better to not even play. So I don't document anymore, you know. I would just block that person and, you know, move on with my life, you know. Don't even play the games. Yeah. Yeah. And they do this thing where they like to try to exchange energies. You know, maybe he was hoping he would make you sad for the holidays. Obi-Wan says, I slept with my narc on a Hoover. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad the soul tie is broken, because some people might have slept with the narcissist. And that's the thing. The more healing that you do, when you go back and sleep with them, it won't feel the same. It won't. As a matter of fact, it might even feel disgusting. Happy New Year's, Psychic Dashton. Yeah, I heard about Betty White. I really did. I was like, oh, on the last day of the year in a couple of weeks before her birthday, which is on the same day as my twins. My twins are born on January the 17th. Dawn, and rest in peace to Betty White, beautiful soul. Dawn says, I know now I lost myself trying to help find a better him. Yeah. Yeah, you lost track of yourself, but now you're back connected. That's a better way we'll put it. And now you can put all that energy into yourself. That's the thing. It's just a lot of times what empath is misguided energy, you know. And I made a video talking about, are you an empath, you know, and refining that gift so that you can use it as your as a blessing and not as a detriment, you know. Right. I'm sure he is addicted to you. Yes, Team Capricorns. Yep, that is Capricorn season, January 17th. Obi says, I found myself trying to recognize what just occurred before my eyes. Yeah, you guys hooked up, but it, you know what? It let you know how far you've come. I mean, maybe you had sex with the person, but they didn't have mind control over you any further, and they didn't have body control over you either. So, if you want to spin that on a positive light, it lets you know how far you've come in the situation. And, as far as the narcissist who's raging now, because, obviously she felt entitled to, have that whip appeal on you again, or to spark a soul tie in you again. But the contract is over. That's the thing. Narcissists, they don't know how to end contracts. They feel entitled to forevers. They think they're immortal. Just talk to an old narcissist. They don't want to acknowledge their sickness and their pending endings, and they're very entitled. Dawn says, I feel things when he is here, and even while he is gone, it makes me sick for days after, and my body shakes. Yeah, I think you definitely need to cleanse his energy out of your stratosphere, for real. It's time. It is time to cleanse him out of your life. And don't give him access, you know? Yeah, but don't take them because they're rotten. And then not only are the carrots rotten, because she says they give carrots to keep the herd close, but you know what? You realize that they're GMO carrots, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even the kind of carrots that you want to digest inside of your body. It'll always leave a nasty taste, make you sick, not nourish you. Yeah, you can. That's something that you can do. Don, you're saying with crystals. Yeah, you can use some crystals, but I would start in the mind first. Make sure that you've had the ultimate shift mentally as far as he's concerned, so that you won't even see what he's dangling in front of you as a carrot, for instance. I don't want you to even see that as some healthy snack for you. You know what I mean? He's sent on assignment, and all these narcissists that you guys are dealing with, they're sent on assignments to destroy and disrupt your lives, basically. So every time they come in and hoover you, it's an invitation to, try to steal your blessings, or to keep you from getting your blessings, or delay you from getting your blessings. So you have to start looking at it like that. So it has to start like on a psychological level. But yeah, crystals, you can use some crystals, but I would just really work on the mind first. And, being as though he has been around you for 7 years, he knows your soft spots, Dawn, too. So you have to understand that. And then as you evolve, they're not your soft spots anymore, too, though. So whoever you were when he met you, the first year of the relationship, you got to evolve past that, Like, you should almost be unrecognizable. And sometimes people are physically unrecognizable when done dealing with a narcissist, because you get them out your life, suddenly your health is, getting better, right? Because that dark, toxic energy that's polluting your soul, it's away from you. And the further you get away from it, like your life source, they're not sucking from it anymore. You start looking better, losing weight, and all types of stuff. You get a glow back. But it has to be, mental and physically, of course. But it starts oozing out physically, but it starts out on the inside, right? Dawn says, hell yeah, I've been trying for years. I tell him, don't twist this situation. It's not me coming after you or crying to you. Need to see me. You won't find one text from me like that. Yeah. Yeah. But just interacting with him, giving him that exchange, even if it's him doing the chasing. I think, you've said enough to him. You don't even have to give him, you don't even have to break all of this down to him. So, all right, you guys. Do you guys have any more questions? Any questions before I kind of start wrapping up this live chat on the narcissist and their entitlement? And for anyone that came in on the back end, it'll re-upload where you can hear it from the beginning where we were talking about stuff. All right, Don says, he said he was tired of the bullshit. I said, what the hell? Stop making it about you. I didn't ask for or want anything. Yeah. So, he's affecting your health, and it's time to just start choosing you and not be distracted with his bullshit. It's projection. It's definitely his projection, Dawn. Obi says, reason why I don't mind is because did you mean you date hot females and almost darn near took my head off? Are you saying like lost your mind? Well, just because someone's physically beautiful on the outside, it definitely doesn't make them mentally sane. I'm sure you're learning that. You're welcome, Dawn. Someone's spamming. Dawn says he lives on the coast 3 hours away, thank God, so it's harder to get into my zen. I don't know. Because if he's able to do it through technology, it could, affect you just as much, and that's why I tell survivors, it doesn't matter if you live in New York and they live in California, if they're still, renting that space mentally, it's still gonna bring you some type of duress. You know what I mean? Right. I understand. It is helpful that you can't physically, there's a physical block, but I also say that most of the issues in these type of relationships are psychological. I mean, of course, there's the soul ties and stuff and physical domestic violence and such. I understand that as well. Obi says, mine went no contact when I accidentally told her I know what she is. Now her and my daughter disappeared. How old is your daughter? And so you had a child with her. Life of Destiny says, being in a relationship with a narcissist is very similar to addiction. Yes, it is. The major highs and lows and soul ties can be hard to overcome for some. You're right, Life of Destiny. And that's why, the trauma bond, scientists have actually studied it, and they do compare the mental activity in your brain when you're in these toxic relationships to the similar type of activities that are going on with people who are alcoholics and drug addicts. And that's why, just like when you are doing drugs and alcohol, what do they have to do? They have like 12-step programs. They have to go no contact as well. I mean, there may be situations with certain types of drugs where they wean people off of them because of withdrawal. but they do that under a doctor's supervision, But yeah, because it is an addiction, that's why you have to do that no contact and reprogram your brain to some new behaviors. And that's why you have to constantly keep putting that work in as well, because that pathway that was basically, unfortunately, cemented in your brain, especially if you've been in that situation for years on end, your mind still remembers the highs, it still remembers it, which is how you're able to, go back in and do another cycle of abuse. And that's why, this type of healing is so mindful, you guys. You have to really be purposeful, if you will. You have to be intentional, if you will. And you have to replace one behavior with another, just like you do for any other type of addiction. And that is going to be your best bet to, filling those voids in another way. Whatever void you were filling with that toxic person, you have to find something else to fill it with. Almost like that book, Eat This and Not That. I'm not saying, like, let's say I like to eat unhealthy potato chips. You could still find something crunchy to have, but, you really have to replace things and come up with the plan ahead of time. Don't expect yourself to just think of these things on the spot. Like when a narcissist reaches out to you, you have to premeditate it, What if this person's hoovers me? Or what if I see them out on the street? Where will I go? What will I do? Like, try to premeditate these things ahead of time so that you're not feeling like you're choking up or you've left yourself vulnerable. Don Travis says the way they play victim when you finally show signs, about the facade. Yeah. And they have to do that. And no, this is when the smear campaign comes. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting. One actually said someone smeared, well, I've been smeared by many of the narcissists. Narcissists probably hate Coach Lakia. Just for that reason, I've become so much more of a private person, you guys. I'm telling you. I know people do not like me for helping other people get away from them. But one narcissist actually admitted to the smearing. I smear the truth. And it was the most ignorant statement I ever heard. Like, first of all, do you know what a smear is? So silly. Like, if I was Charlemagne, I would have given them the donkey of the day. Happy New Year, sweetie. Shaker Motives. Yeah, Shaker Motives says she told me something was pushing her away. Anything we were getting closer, and still I don't understand. What does that mean? She told me something was pushing her away. Anything we were getting closer, and I don't understand. Well, it actually, the more intimacy you're inviting that narcissist to, the more it's going to push them away, because that's going to make them feel awkward. Number one, she's not probably looking to have this real intimacy. So she has to be pushed away. She has to, fall off some to put a break in whatever you're trying to bring to her, which is maybe a real serious connection, you know? Yeah. So maybe there's something that's pushing her away. It could be anything. It could be another person. It could be your light, Because if you're coming together with someone who's actually toxic and they're not really looking to change from that, then they're going to be put off by your light and they'll only be able to tolerate so much at a time. So Obi says, I hope my narc has plenty of TP because it's about to hit the fan soon. What's TP? Should I have asked for that? Maybe I should have asked what that meant. Life of Destiny says, I had to wean off and now I can say I'm totally done. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it does happen in steps and it's all still progression. Good for you. Oh my gosh. Hubby says toilet paper. You're a funny one. Dawn says narcissism, personality disorder is the only condition where the patient can be treated. It's every person in their life they abuse. It's the only condition where the patient can't be treated. Yeah, it is extremely unlikely that someone will recover from that. It's very true. It's extremely unlikely. Yeah, and it's because they won't get real with themselves, and then not only won't they get real, they're not getting treatment. So, and then honestly, they have brain injuries. The part of their brain that deals with empathy is kind of screwed up, especially the further they are or the more narcissistic they are. Like, let's say they were like a psychopath. There's no fixing that. Right. Obi says, how can you help someone that doesn't have a problem? You can't, because what's the first step to the 12 steps, right? Admitting that you have a problem. And it's hard for them to do that. They have this, their self-esteem issues. And the false mask that they wear, all of it. They're the most self-sabotaging people you'll ever meet, honestly. And just like they put you guys in these cycles, they're doing it to themselves. As much as they're lying to you all, they're lying to themselves even harder. Only you guys get to learn a lesson, even if it's a hard one, and it elevates you and you can move on. And then they're just stuck in these same habitual patterns and low vibrational behaviors. Right. Right. Be tired of it and then be done with it. Be tired and done. Don says, I told him he is not to return. He is a no return on my investment, waste of my time. He was the one who gave nothing but took my money, energy, mind, and soul. But you're going to take your lessons so that nobody else will be able to get over you, and basically con you at that point. And you're going to make sure before you start investing in a man that he is invested into you. And then you can consider what type of investments you're even willing to make in a man that's not even your husband. You see what I'm saying, Dawn? This time is stuff that you cannot get back. So let's challenge people to be on our levels. And as empaths, in 2022, let's not take on the wrong projects. Know the assignment. Know the assignment for your life, of what God wants you to be doing and who he wants you to share your light with and who he doesn't. You have to make sure that the people who are getting pieces of your energy, because it's okay sometimes to help the less fortunate. It is, but not when it comes to a narcissist. That's a different kind of less fortunate. The kind that is hopeless. You don't want to be putting yourself into hopeless situations because it'll be a pit that'll never be bottomless. There's no end to helping a person like that. So, yeah, make sure that people are worthy of the type of love and care that you're going to be giving out. Make people earn the right to show you that, okay? Unless it really is a charity situation, obviously. That's a little bit different. But I'm talking about your personal relationships. Be more guarded, be more exclusive, you guys. You guys need to be exclusive. You're way too beautiful. You're way too talented. You have so much love to give, resources, all these things. And you're just, all too often it's too freely given. It's too freely given to people who are undeserving in your personal lives. You have to become exclusive. Like, make it into your mind right now. I'm exclusive. Everyone does not get access to me. Don says, as a Libra, I give too much and never get the same respect. He said he doesn't like feeling obligated to buy me things, but loves the kindness I gave. Of course, because he's a selfish prick. And, this isn't a channel for zodiacs per se, but I do know a lot about them. I'll say that. I should have a channel of it. But on a dark side, Libras can be too much of a people pleaser, And a Libra woman who's very relational and, loves the idea of partnership, but it can't be at any cost. It can't be a partnership that doesn't balance the scales, because that's what Libra represents, is balancing scales. This guy you can't be putting all your pots of gold, weighing him down with love and affection, and then your scale is all lifted up into the air, light as a feather, because he's not even putting a crumb on it, and just taking. Ugh, that's disgusting. Sounds so feminine on top of that. What type of man would be okay with that? Obi says, first time, shame on Narc, but shame on you the next 6 million times. Yeah, that's the thing, you guys. No more 6 million times. We know we have to graduate. We've all had at least that one narcissist, and we have to graduate. And it's okay to be one and done. As empaths, your big heart, you want to think, well, no one's perfect, and that's fine. No one is perfect, but it can still be a one and done. And Obi says, Leo, hear me roar. Yeah. And Leos have big hearts. Charmaine Bigby says, I will never, ever stay with my narcissist woman ever again. Never. She will never be good. Yeah, because they're building up a lot of negative karma. Trust me. They will have to account for things. Good. I'm glad you won't be staying with that person anymore. Dawn says, I'm a human lie detector. I don't need a man. I want one. Right. And when you have that energy, you're going to be a lot more picky and choosy. You're okay with letting people go that don't meet your standards. Nicole Leslie says, Happy New Year from Germany. Thank you, sweetie. Happy New Year's to you, too. Don says, we know it won't change, yet let them back, then cry. They did it again to us and act like we were the victim. When a survivor is not a survivor yet and in their toxicity, absolutely. And that's what has to stop, because then you're self-sabotaging yourself. I told my mother my New Year's resolution is to become Google Facts. We got to get Obi on the stage. He's a comedian. Aw. All right. So I guess I'm going to have to block Love Face. I'm not putting you on timeout. I'm just going to block you. There you go. We don't play around here with the shenanigans. And I was like, well, they're just doing emojis earlier, but they don't have anything better to do with their time. So I'll help guide them in another direction. Okay. Well, share it. Make sure you share it with me, Obi. You can email me, CoachLakia@gmail.com. Let me know your channel. All right, let us know in the next live chat, hun. All right, you guys. At the end of the day, I'm going to sign off here, but it doesn't matter what other people are entitled to, as long as you know your worth and what you're willing to allow anyone to have access to in your life. And you make that call, not someone else, you know? Take the control back, you guys. It has to be your way or the highway. And I know sometimes with empaths before they step into their strength is too much of what not wanting to hurt other people's feelings, not wanting to ruffle any feathers. But, what does that get done in life when it comes to you doing what you have to do for you? Because let me tell you something. I've studied a lot of psychology, and people are mostly interested in their own agenda. They're mostly interested in what they believe is best for them. So, by not having these solid boundaries and allowing entitled people to come in and just step all over you, your best interest is not even going to be on the list at that point. All right. And like I said, this is way too much of an important year coming up of people being blessed. And like I said, it's 2022, 222. That's 6, you guys. It's a pregnant woman. You guys are about to give birth to things. You're about to be blessed with abundance. And I want you to receive it in the most wise manner. Don't be the person who hit the lottery and that's broke 2 years later. You know what I'm saying? Let's be wise with this right now. Let's protect. Let's move in silence, right? You don't need anybody's acceptance. You don't need their friendship even. I mean, after everything that you've been through, you should see that all you really need is God. He's the one that's there for you when a narcissist screwed you over, when you hit rock bottom, when you lost everything, when you had a setback. It was you and God anyway. So once he promotes you and he gets you out of that situation, don't forget. Don't forget who was really there for you. Don't forget. And protect yourself, and don't cast your pearls before swine, because that's exactly what you're doing with these type of people. And sometimes it's your own family members. It's not just romantic. It's sometimes you got to make those new boundaries with family members. There was a time when I realized, hey, I'm never going to be able to do this if I keep doing that. I can't take care of everybody. Empaths feel too responsible for too many people when they're not in their strength or they're not being balanced about it. You can't save the world. You can't. It's a nice thought. And it's not even a nice thought when you think about it. It sounds pretty exhausting and really unfair, because that means there's a lot of people who aren't pulling their weight. Why should one person be saving the world with all of these millions of billions of people in it? Everybody should be doing their part. And that's the whole thing about being an empath. Just because you have this big heart, just because you have these resources, maybe you might even think you can make more time to take on this and that. It doesn't mean that you should. And it's going to be important this year to understand that moving forward, knowing when you should and shouldn't be stepping in to things. What's your assignment and what isn't, Thank you for your donation, Dawn. I appreciate that. Aw, yeah. Yeah, and this is great. This is one of the ways that you can, start getting better, is stay close to communities like this, It's not going to hurt for sure. It's going to give you some reinforcement, and you'll be around other people who understand. And we're all at different phases of the healing process, so that's another good thing. Someone's been there before. She says, my birthday is October 22nd. Ooh, that's very telling, Dawn. The number 22 is a control or be controlled number. That number 22 means control or be controlled. So in your life, you may find yourself in situations where you have to control or you're going to be controlled. Now, you're taking your control back from this guy. So Be very mindful of that. And I hope that helps you out. And 2 also stands for emotions. So you're going to have a lot of themes of you learning how to overcome, how to balance your emotions, okay? And to not just be emotionally ran. So that means have a balance between your emotions and your logic. And understanding that, sometimes it takes a while for your emotions to catch up with your logic, but you get to be in control, Dawn. Don't give your control over. You get to still be in control of even your own emotions. You could actually legit tell yourself, if he were to reach out, no matter how, okay, you feel sorry for him, Dawn. This is you talking to yourself, right? But we're not doing that right now. Instead, we're going to go for a jog. Or instead, I'm going to call such and such. Or instead, I'm going to go on YouTube and watch a video. You could actually you could put that boundary down and stand up to yourself even. Because that's what you're doing when you're breaking this addiction. And this goes for everybody. You have to sometimes stand up to yourself, your old self, or some of your toxic ways. Like, nah, we're not doing that. Intelligent people do talk to themselves. Yes, people with schizophrenia does as well, but intelligent people do as well. Einstein said so. But sometimes you have to do this even with yourself. If you find out, look, I am the culprit right now. I'm the one self-sabotaging. Sure, this person is reaching out, but I'm the one answering the calls, because he's going to do what it is that a narcissist is going to do. You're the one that have to be the high evolved person to shut it down, or, ghost him, or, don't reply back, and all of these things. Jenny says narcissists are broken people with a false self. Yeah. They don't want to deal with their own brokenness and trauma. Absolutely not. They don't. And that's why they create the false self, to pretend to be something that they're not. Because if they do that, they can psych themselves out and the problem doesn't exist, when it actually is just getting bigger and worse and more embedded in their psyche. And then that's another reason why they like to get with people of light. Because, like I said in the beginning, with their entitlement, they feel like if they can attract a good person and cling on to these good people, that's another part of the false self. Well, if I'm hanging around with Oprah, I might be like Oprah too. When it's really just only one Oprah. But they think this way. Dawn says, I'm a twin too. And that's cute. That is so cute. I attract so many twins just in my waking life. It's an energetic thing. Like at the supermarket, on my trips, going here and there, like just constantly. But is avoiding healthy, or is it delaying the hurt? It's healthy at this point because that's the no contact. It's healthy for you because you have to retrain yourself. Like, why does he deserve to have any more contact with you? Like, what else are you guys talking about? Do you have a child together? Do you own real estate together? Okay. Like, what is it? Right. So it's healthy. It's going to be healthy at this point for you and for him. Imagine a narcissist that can't get supply and they're forced to have to deal with themselves. Imagine a narcissist where people are just one and done with them and they're never able to really do these cycles of abuses on people. Imagine a whole world hip to them and they just have to deal with other narcissists. Look, sometimes we get in the way of their karma and we become a soft place to fall for them by, not getting out of the way, by enabling them, by still helping them, even with conversation. They don't have a problem, we do. No, they have a problem. They definitely have a problem, Obi. Well, I guess that wasn't a serious statement if you laughed, but that's what they'll say. We have the problem and not them. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And that's how you know that they're not going to be changing. That's the number one clue right there. That person is not changing. And that's whether they're a narcissist or not. All right, you guys, I really enjoyed this live chat with you. I think this is my third time try to sign off. I appreciate you guys stepping in. Let's see. Obi has another. An 87-year-old narc told me I destroyed her. And I said, I know you almost got away with it. I'm like reading that again really slow. Wow, God, if that person really is a narcissist, God used that narcissist for a long time. Sheesh. Yeah, it's probably there's excitement for the day too. I'm wondering how much can an 87-year-old narcissist get into, huh? Probably quite a bit still. All right, you guys, I love you. Continue to do the work. Like I was saying earlier, I did put some new uploads up yesterday, was it? Yep. One of them is about talking about being an empath. And I probably could even talk more about that eventually. The other one is about the narcissist competing with you, and the other one is about uncomplicating your life. I put another video up about for the singles out there about God being a husband. Obi says the Bible says a person who loves their life loses it quicker. Well, I guess God is talking about, living more of a spiritual life. But don't be fooled. There are some evil old dark narcissists out there too. Some people say they're so evil that they refuse to die. All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in. And I'll definitely just say continue to do the work. Never give up on yourselves. And until next time, please take care, you guys.